Renegade Immortal, Chapter 129. Wang Lin leveraged the power of the celestial pointing pen to seal Ling Tenho's sword chi, successfully rescuing Zhao Yi, who had been submerged to the bottom of the abyss for a century. Afterward, they sped away, intending to leave this dangerous place as quickly as possible. Suddenly, Zhao Yi transmitted a divine sense warning. A bizarre purple mist lay ahead, blocking their path. It seemed that cultivators were trapped inside, and even his sword sense couldn't fully penetrate it to investigate. Wang Lin's mind was shaken. He speculated that the trapped individuals might be Mo Rongzhu, whom he met earlier, or the two women from the Zhao and XU families. He immediately raised his guard. On the far side of the blocking purple mist, a massive swarm of mosquito beasts had gathered. Though their bodies were huge, their abdomens were completely deflated. Clearly, they had fallen into a state of extreme starvation. Their dark red eyes radiated intense cruelty and tyranny, while their long, sharp proboscises gleamed with a chilling coldness like swords. The flapping of tens of thousands of wings created a terrifying wave of sound that echoed throughout the abyss's exit. They encircled the area without attacking, seeming wary of something. However, maddening hunger was making them restless. The proboscises of some beasts clashed, sparking fire. A tragedy of cannibalism was on the verge of erupting. Although hissing sounds occasionally came from deep within the swarm, trying to suppress the riot, as time passed, the ferocious nature of the mosquito beasts became harder to control. Finally, two beasts, disregarding everything else, tore into each other. Just as the order was about to collapse completely, the swarm parted to open a path. A mosquito beast, 10 zhang long and radiating a pale purple glow, flew out slowly. 7 silver needles were embedded in its head, emitting vibrations that caused visible pain in its eyes. As soon as it appeared, it moved like a bolt of lightning, instantly piercing the two instigators and draining their essence and blood, turning them into dried husks. Under its cold gaze, the entire swarm immediately submitted, ceasing their infighting. Having quelled the chaos, the purple mosquito beast, bearing a look of sorrow that seemed out of place for such a ferocious creature, slowly flew back into the depths of the herd. Deep within the eerie purple mist, a pair of greedy eyes opened furtively, the gaze exuding a cold gloom. That strange beast was powerful, but under the control of his life-bound treasure, the 7 fiend needles, it could not escape his palm. Greedwolf calculated silently. Controlling this beast king meant possessing the entire swarm. The abilities of this species were treacherous and unpredictable. If used correctly in the future, even when facing a powerhouse like Ling Tenho, he would have the qualifications to turn the tide. A flash of smugness crossed his heart. Since entering the tidal abyss, he had meticulously planned to use formations to hide himself. Unexpectedly, he discovered the sleeping mosquito beasts in a rift, turning his shock into ecstatic joy. Greedwolf had spent his life drifting through the void, earning the title Greedwolf never visits a place without treasure. His experience was far richer than the average person. He had witnessed this species of mosquito beast in the past in a desolate part of the void when fleeing enemies. Back then, he saw a purple star completely covered in them. Their combined pressure was so terrifying that he would rather turn back and face his enemies than provoke these creatures. Greedwolf formed a bold plan, carefully using his 7 fiend needles to secretly control the Beast King while they slept, creating the current siege. That purple mist was the most crucial link, an inescapable net he had cast. Greedwolf swept a cold, contemptuous glance over the disciples of the Dao Lo sword sect. To him, they were trash, except for the one named Shen Long, who was barely passable. He had determined that a command medallion, coveted even by powerhouses like the All-Seer, was hidden within the mist. This strange token required a specific time to appear, and seemed to require a living sacrifice to unlock. If not for the fear of Ling Tenho's sword chi remaining in their bodies, he would have captured them for sacrifice long ago, rather than spending 100 years using the purple mist to erode their minds and drive them to self-destruction. On the other side of the dense purple mist, Wang Lin arrived riding his celestial sword. He quickly realized the path was completely blocked. If he didn't pass through, he could never leave the Fire Demon province. Zhao Yi's divine sense transmitted from the sword, stating that sword sense couldn't penetrate the mist, but those trapped inside absolutely couldn't see out either. Wang Lin nodded in understanding. While channeling celestial energy to resist the abyss's repulsive force, he stared at the purple mist, pondering a countermeasure. Suddenly, the bag of holding at Wang Lin's waist vibrated violently. Sending his divine sense inside, he found his mosquito beast in an extreme state of agitation. Its red eyes flashed with ferocity, and upon sensing his master, it let out urgent, ear-piercing shrieks. Wang Lin frowned in surprise. This beast was usually fierce but obedient, rarely losing control like this. After a moment of thought, he tapped the bag and released it. The moment the mosquito beast escaped the confined space, it roared and shot into the dense purple mist like an arrow. Wang Lin's eyes narrowed, and he immediately backed away to maintain distance, with Zhao Yi's celestial sword guarding him closely. This strange purple mist, which blocked divine sense, seemed to have no effect on the mosquito beast. It vanished into the fog in an instant. Though Wang Lin still had doubts, his mental connection with the beast remained intact. He suppressed his anxiety, calmed his mind, and slowly flew upward into the mist. Zhao Yi controlled the sword to form a protective barrier of sword chi, with his divine sense on high alert. As for Greedwolf, he hadn't actually detected a cultivator approaching. He had only sensed the aftershocks of the clash between Wang Lin and Ling Tenho traveling along the abyss walls earlier. Now, moving through the mist with extreme caution, Wang Lin found his vision filled with nothing but murky purple. The life and death seal on his forehead glinted tau, covering his body in a protective seal. Suddenly, Zhao Yi warned, 10 miles ahead there is a clearing. 6 cultivators are gathered there. One of them has extraordinary cultivation. The other 5 look very familiar. Hearing there were people ahead, a calculating look crossed Wang Lin's eyes. Zhao Yi's divine sense merged with Wang Lin, using his body as a medium to project far through the dense mist to that clearing. The image of 6 cultivators appeared clearly in Wang Lin's mind, and he immediately recognized their origins. At that moment, Greedwolf, sitting cross-legged in the center, suddenly snapped his eyes open. Golden light shot from his eyes, and he shouted, "Who is sneaking around? I am Greedwolf." The shout, filled with internal energy, caused the Dao Lo's sword sect disciples to pale and scramble up in defense. Only deep in Shen Long's eyes did a very subtle glint of joy flash. Zhao Yi retrieved the divine sense, returning Wang Lin to a hidden state. Greedwolf's face was dark. He huffed coldly, his right hand on his storage bag, but he hesitated to draw a treasure. He sensed the opponent's divine sense was incredibly bizarre, outwardly appearing as early-stage ascendant, but hidden as sharp divine sense carrying terrifying sword ent. Greedwolf was heavily injured, his cultivation having fallen from Yin Void back to the peak of the ascendant stage. He was at a critical point of recovery and cherished his life, unwilling to make enemies with an unknown variable. After the divine sense returned, Wang Lin and Zhao Yi quickly exchanged thoughts. Wang Lin identified the 5 as Dao Lo's sword disciples and the old leader as Greedwolf. Zhao Yi finally realized why they looked familiar, and his tone turned cold. Wang Lin analyzed calmly. There is definitely a scheme here. Greedwolf has profound cultivation. Even if the Dao Lo disciples have Ling Tenho's protective sword chi, proving he has trapped them for 100 years without killing them proves Greedwolf has some other plan. Furthermore, I caught a glimpse of joy in that disciple's eyes. It clearly was a distress signal. They and Greedwolf are not on the same side. Hearing Wang Lin's thorough analysis, Zhao Yi manifested and looked at him deeply, astonished. This was the first time he truly felt Wang Lin's terrifying nature, not just in cultivation speed, but in deep schemes and keen observation. In Zhao Yi's eyes, Wang Lin had transformed from a sentimental junior into a resourceful powerhouse. Wang Lin smiled and clasped his hands. "Senior, I'd like you to scatter sword ant in the mist to intimidate them, while I reveal myself directly to meet them." Greedwolf shouted but didn't chase, proving he is wary. This is a weakness we can exploit. Wang Lin guessed Greedwolf's goal was related to the command medallion of Qing Suang's father. After Zhao Yi agreed to fully support him, Wang Lin turned and walked straight through the mist toward the group. Since his presence was exposed, he chose to appear openly to inspect the situation and test if Greedwolf recognized him.
10 miles was instantaneous for a cultivator. When Wang Lang appeared in the clearing, 6 pairs of eyes locked onto him. The Daolo's sword disciples recognized him, and killing intent erupted due to the feud between their sects. Wang Lin's expression remained as calm as water. His gaze swept over Greedwolf. The old monster merely glanced at him once and then closed his eyes to rest, looking arrogant.